What does it take to make it as a female founder in the cutthroat recruitment industry?
This week, Callie Rashid tells us about her inspiring journey from intern to business owner and tells us what it really takes. Hint, it isn't a business degree. Recruitment is an industry that has its reputation. Can you just tell us a bit about how you got into recruitment in the first place and what your journey in recruitment and your experience has been like?
Okay, so I will start from, it started when I was about the age of 20. I will start when I was really young. So basically, I came from obviously, me and my family, we did not have much. So as soon as my NI came through, I started to work. And then I worked in retail, and back then I was earning £4 an hour in a shoe shop in Oxford Circus. For me, I was like, wow, that's amazing. And then I was there for a good few years, and then I went back into uni. Thought, why not? Because all my mates were into uni, so I thought, I'll just try it.
Yeah.
Done that, and then I dropped out. After a year, I got, this is not for me, because I was like, I'm money hungry. And then I worked in a call center. Then I realized that I'm actually quite good in the phones. So then and then I went through a few interviews to work as a trainee, but I was getting rejected everywhere because I didn't have any experience in that market. So then I thought, I'll do a 3 months internship, unpaid. So I done that for working for a firm, unpaid for 3 months. And then after that, I started to apply for jobs. And then I got my first trainee recruitment consultant role for a company called Reed. And
Of course, we all know Reed. I don't think I knew you were at Reed.
Yeah. So I was there for 1 year. I was dealing with IT. I done well. And then I just came across healthcare, went for an interview. I thought, do you know what? Why not? Done that. And then I just fell into healthcare. And then I absolutely done well. I smashed it. I worked with a few companies into healthcare, like big ones. I worked for cowboy ones as well. And then it just came to a stage in my life where I was like, do you know what? I think I've done well, and I've got my experience for 12 years.
I mean, was that always in the back of your mind, the idea that you would go it alone and set up your own place?
No, I'll be honest, it started back in 2016. And then when I backpacked with my partner, and then I thought, do you know what? I really want to start my own firm. I want to see what's the next step. Obviously, I came back. I was broke. So I had to, so broke. Then I had to obviously go back into work, and I worked, and I gained some experience into quite a senior role, into dealing with people, dealing with a team and stuff like that. But I did obviously start my own company at that time, but I did not do anything in terms of trading, but I just had it there, if that made any sense.
Yeah.
Saved some money, and then COVID happened.
Yeah.
So you had, I didn't know that. So what made you just start the company initially? What made you, I don't know,
What made me is, there's quite a few reasons is, and I'll be completely, transparent. I hate people telling me what to do, and I hate to answer to anyone.
Completely.
And I think I'd done that for 10 years, 9 years back then. And then I just thought, do you know what, this is my next step. No one else is not gonna, give me that opportunity. So I thought, do you know what, I have to take the next step. So I did.
And how, at that time, I'm interested to know, at that time, how confident did you feel that you could do it? Did you have the confidence that you could make it work before you started?
Yes, I did. Yes. Because the thing is, there's when you have so much experience and what you specialize in, and you can do the job at the back of your, you just know it. And I thought, do you know what, I will try, because the last thing I don't want is, turning the age of 55 onwards and thinking, what if? So I took the leap, and I thought, do you know what, I'm just gonna branch out. If it works, it works. If it don't work, oh well, I can go back into a job. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned there that it was in COVID that you decided to finally take the plunge. What happened that made you decide, okay, here we go?
Okay, what happened, as sad as it sounds, and I'll be completely honest, is during COVID, I had time to think because it was standstill for everyone, the whole world. And when I had time to think, I thought, do you know what? This is the time. If I'm going to ever leave my job, because I was in a high job in terms of basic, my pay was good, like the role was good. I thought this is the only time I can start. So then I started in COVID during the first lockdown. People were like, oh my God, my job, am I going to get furloughed? I was that one person who left my job and I left.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you decided that was it. You were just going to leave, give it a go. What were those first kind of few months like? Did you already have an idea of how you would set up the business, how you would go about it? Or was it like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do?
I had a plan, and the plan is to do what I do best, is to make deals. So, and I thought, do you know what? Where I've been in the market for about 9 years then, I'm known to private accounts who will be happy to use me when I have my own firm. And they said, that's fine. And I'd done that. So I had a plan in place. And the plan, and then obviously I did have some savings. It wasn't a lot, it was $6,000, I'll be honest. It was 6K, and I thought, do you know what? I'm gonna do this. And I did. And obviously there's ups and downs, and I just started to do what I do on my own, because at first 1 year, 6 months, I was on my own. So being self-employed was great, but it's different when you're a business owner, when you have staff.
This is the question I wanted to ask, because I totally hear what you're saying, that you had so much experience and you knew that you were good at doing the job, at making the deals. But what about navigating life as a business owner? How have you found that experience? Because it's a whole different job, isn't it?
It's a different ball game.
Yeah.
So obviously I don't have experience in to run a firm or business. I don't. If I'm honest, I winged it.
Yeah.
I learned as I went, and you have to just do what you think is best, what you think is the right thing to do. And I did. And, there's sometimes where you learn things in like a bad way. Sometimes you think, do you know what, that was the right choice. So, so I'll be honest, you learn as you go.
I mean, you mentioned it there about having staff as well. So was there a point where you were tempted to just stick with it just being you, or did you always know that you would need to scale? Because I know that comes with just a whole other world of challenges.
So I always knew that I would like to grow my firm, which I have done. But there's sometimes where you're like, oh, do you know what? I just can't be asked. I want to be on my own. Because it is so much easier being self-employed. It really is. But then I'm like, no, I've done this for a reason. You either go big or you go home.
And in terms of when you said you were just winging it and figuring everything out, I mean, we were in the same office for a while.
Spaces, yeah.
So I was right there next to you when we were both doing it together. But I guess other than me running to the coffee station, where did you get support from? Did you reach out to ex-colleagues, friends, family? Where did you generate support from?
Support, I got this from friends and family who have other stuff like their own, the businesses. Obviously, it's not a firm, but I asked them, saying, could you tell me how I can, how can you get an
accountant,
or to deal with finances? Because I didn't have no clue. And they told me, they go, it's like this and that. And I just took everything on board. And then I started with an accountant, then the accountant advised me what to do and stuff. And then obviously at Spaces, it was great to meet people.
Yeah.
And I met so many people who are just like us, and they advised me. It's literally communicating, networking, asking for help. That's what I did.
Yeah, I think that's so true, actually. You have to ask for help and not be afraid to not know stuff when you start out. And I mean, when it came to scaling the business, then how have you approached that? How have you found the whole process of, you know, finding good talent? And I mean, I guess you are a recruiter, but like, has it been recruiting your own?
Yeah.
Where do I start? I think
I witnessed some of this.
my maid exactly. she has. I think the hardest thing, and I can vouch for this, is having good employees. I don't know what it is, but during this generation, the staff, they just don't want to work and or graft, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So, and unfortunately, I went through a lot of staff to get the right ones.
Yeah.
And that is just the game of it, I guess. So, yeah.
I mean, how have you managed that though? Has it been a case of bringing people in and just saying, okay, like, prove yourself?
Definitely. So obviously you do the interviews, you see them about 2-3 times and you think, okay, cool, it's fine. Give them a chance. They start, then after month 2, you realize, nah, it's not working out. If they're not making you money, then it's a cost for me. And I'm like, no way. If they don't have the hunger and the drive, I'm like, no, I'm so done. So yeah.
And then on the other side of things, how have you grown the client side of your business?
Client side, do you know what? I'm not being vain, but I've been in the market for 9 years.
Yeah.
I've built that anyway, so I've got that. So in terms of that side, there's no issue at all. I've actually grown. I've got more accounts than ever. So yeah, and I think in the healthcare market, it's not about the business side. It's a candidate-led market, so there's enough business for everyone. It's just getting the candidates
And getting the right people.
just getting the right staff. So yeah.
So I think recruitment is one of those industries where, just like you did, a lot of people will, because it is kind of largely sales and commission based.
Yeah.
A lot of people can find themselves in a position where they think, I'm bringing in a huge amount of business for my employer, a huge amount of revenue for my employer, and I'm taking home just a small portion of it.
Yeah.
And of course, that's why you as a business owner want to have employees so they can bring more revenue into your
Definitely,
business.
of course.
But I guess my question to you is, I'd love to know how that's actually looked in reality, because of course, like you say, when you were self-employed, you could just, I imagine, sit on the phone all day and do deals all day long.
That's what I do best.
Yeah, versus like now having staff, of course, they will also do deals as well, but you then have to pay their wages and pensions and expenses and all of that. So I just wonder, like, in reality, how that's been, and has anything surprised you?
Yes, it has, because obviously I don't have experience, but I think a lot of stuff has, like in terms of like the legal stuff, the finances, the marketing, social media, the HR, the employees. Like there's so much more. It's not like, just doing what you do best as a recruitment consultant. What you do best is, cold calling, making the deals, dealing with clients, candidates, but it's the other side, and where you're like, oh God, that's taking my time. But you have to do that to ensure your business runs smoothly.
And tell me about, I want to know about that, cold calling, making the deals.
I love cold calling.
So do I.
Really?
So
I love it.
I like it.
I think because I'm so used to it, I love it. I love the challenge.
She's got a proper great phone voice.
I've got a brilliant. Oh, yeah.
I mean, how do you keep someone on the phone that doesn't want to be?
Do you know what? The thing is,
Ring, ring.
I've been training my staff, and it's always about being personable. You can tell by a person's voice on the other line if they want to be kept on the phone, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
If the person is, oh, I ain't got time, say, okay, cool, it's fine. I can call you back later. If anything, they won't call you back. You text them, email them with a brilliant job offer, and they will come back to you.
And how many times, in a typical day, do you get told to get lost?
Oh my God, I don't know. Countless, there's loads of times. I'm like, okay.
Obviously, listen, obviously you've had
Sometimes
years.
I laugh about it. I'm like, are you all right? Are you having a good day?
Yeah.
How's your day?
Because I can completely imagine. I feel like I could, walk into the recruitment office, pick up the phone, be told to get lost all day long, and it's fine. But if I was just starting out at 20 years old, I think I'd be having some sort of meltdown, every time.
Meltdowns.
Yeah.
Like when I was working for a company called TFS Healthcare, and they're big now. They've done so well. So hats off to Ben. So when I was at that age, 21, I think, and cold calling and speaking to nurses, like they were ruthless.
Yeah.
They will put the phone down and saying, oh, the pay is too small. It's not that great. You tell me why I should take the job offer, or sell me the job. And you just have to sell, like, it's private, it's permanent, and you just have to sell. You have to know the market so well. So yeah.
Do you think that is really what makes somebody stand out in recruitment, is when they really know that market?
The candidate and the market, yes.
So in terms of knowing the candidate, like what type of candidate?
Yeah, I think for a person to be really well at their job, especially in the healthcare market, you have to be very personable, persistent, because there's so many other recruitment firms out there who specialize in healthcare. They're not like who would also call your candidate as well. They might have like a better job offer, or like in terms of like pay and stuff, but a candidate will go with you if you show them that you care.
So actually a lot of it really as well is about relationships.
Yes, it is. Of course it is. You have to build that relationship with your client, your candidate. What I mean by is like, you have to know what the pet's name is, or like, how many kids, or when they're on holiday. For example, one of my candidates, she went to Ghana, and I'm like, oh my God, I called her. When she came back, I was like, how was it? Like, it's being personable. You have to, because if you're not, they're not gonna go with you. They just won't. Yeah.
And am I right in thinking that I think the way it works, I don't know if different companies charge on a different basis, but isn't it kind of you get paid a commission once the candidates pass when they start, they don't have to pass a probation period?
No, it's when they start. So for perm is when they start, and then you invoice out on the start date, and they pay you after, let's just say it could be 14 days, or it could be 20 days or 30 days.
Maybe have I made it up completely that there are some industries where they would need you to pass a probation period first?
Maybe like there is, but I think you're talking about the rebate period, if that makes any sense.
The like if the
Yeah.
Can you just explain to me how it works?
Okay,
I don't actually know,
so with perm is that if the candidate starts, and obviously they pay you in like 14 days or like 30 days, if that candidate leaves within 12 weeks, then we have to pay some back.
Yeah.
Right.
If that makes any sense. But after the 12 weeks, if the candidate leaves after that, we don't owe anything back. So that's why we do candidate aftercare. And
that's what I was going to ask about.
And I've trained my guys once a week, once every 2 weeks. You call your candidate for 12 weeks. After that, then it's safe, if that makes any sense. Yeah.
And if one of your staff comes to you and says, Callie, I've rung a candidate 10 weeks in, they're not happy in the job, I think they're going to leave. How would you tell your member of staff to respond to that?
If it's 10 weeks, obviously I will say, look, there's 2 weeks left.
Yeah.
Okay. So if they, for them to hand in the notice, they've got either 1 week to hand in the notice or 2 weeks.
Yeah.
If anything, what I will do is try and get that candidate to stay for 2 weeks and tell them that we're going to help them, but it's going to take us about 2 to 3 weeks to start the recruitment process again. So to ensure that time frame is there, if
I'm
that
with
makes
you.
any sense.
It is such a cutthroat industry.
It is a bit cheeky, but
Yeah. But then I guess if it's like they've been there for a month and they're not happy, then they're just going to go anyway, probably. So in that case, is it just, you'll start trying to help them find something else straight away?
Not straight away, because it depends on the terms that we have. If the candidate leaves after a month, then we can help them because they've left the company. But if the candidate is still there, then we can't help them because obviously we're going against the client, if that makes any sense. Yeah.
Tell me about the downsides of recruitment.
It's dealing with people.
And
It is literally dealing with people because also we're getting them jobs, aren't we? And it's obviously there's so much competition out there. And I think what the downer is when a candidate says yes, I'll take the job offer. They go through compliance in terms of like pre-employment checks, and then they drop out before they start. That does happen. Or when a candidate has started, then after like a few weeks or like 2 months, they leave because they're not happy there.
And for that reason, do you have to be quite like vigilant about just quite
The
careful
finances.
around
Yeah,
managing
yeah.
the cash in the business
course.
because you sort of don't know when you might get a clawback or you might be expecting sending it. Yeah,
of course, yeah. So I think so definitely the finances is a big deal. So I try to be the best because I'm not great at that side, but I've learned so much.
You
so,
are.
Yeah.
You don't give yourself enough credit. She's amazing.
I mean, for anyone that's kind of listening to this and thinking about how do I go about, setting up on my own, if they have got experience like you had in the field, they feel like they're confident enough to try it themselves. Like, what would be your advice or words of wisdom or learnings?
I'll say my advice is if you can see it and you can feel it, do it. And you're gonna fail. That's normal. If you fail, just start again. Just start again. It's fine. I failed so many times, and I started over and over again. Even now. So yeah, you're gonna have your ups and downs, and feel free to be in touch with me. Talk to me, and any advice, I'm here because I'm happy to advise anyone. I'm not pro at it, but I can help.
Yes, you are a pro.
I'm not a pro.
You
but,
are.
It's my first business, so
Yeah.
I would try my best. There's enough business out there for everyone, so I won't hide away or shy away and not tell you what to do and stuff. So yeah.
And if anyone does want to get in touch with you, if they've listened to this and they are
Yeah.
feeling inspired, where can they find you?
You can find me on LinkedIn.
Oh, you must be a recruiter.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Best way on my website. There's Instagram. Yeah, so we're all on the social media stuff. So yeah.
We'll pop all of the links in the show notes so anyone can find you and get
Definitely,
in contact.
of course. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you so
No worries.
much for being on.
Thank you.